She told my daughter she couldn't sit under that tree, the one her mother planted before she died, because it belongs to the community now. And then she called the cops. Yeah, that actually happened. My 11-year-old, grieving in silence under her mom's oak tree, and this woman Eleanor Vance, HOA president and self-appointed queen of the lakefront, decided it was a threat to the order she'd built with her clipboard and her glare. We weren't blasting music, throwing a party, or even talking loud. Just being, breathing, trying to feel something other than loss. My name's Garrett Langley, and this is the story of how I found myself in a war I never wanted, fighting for a piece of land I never thought I'd have to defend because it already belonged to my daughter. When my wife Sarah passed from cancer 2 years ago, I didn't think I'd breathe right again, let alone take our daughter back to that cabin. It was our family's place, quiet, on the lake, surrounded by trees that whispered when the wind passed through, and it held every version of Sarah. Her laughter. Her barefoot walks on the deck. Her hands in the garden. That place was her. And for a long time, I couldn't go near it. But this summer, something shifted. Chloe needed it. I could see it. She'd been holding in her grief so tightly, trying to be strong for me when really, she just missed her mom. So we went back. I thought we were ready. Turns out, we weren't ready for Eleanor. We hadn't even been there 15 minutes when Chloe ran to the oak tree Sarah planted when she was 4. She wrapped her arms around it like she was hugging her mom, and for the first time in years, I mean real years, I saw her smile from deep in her heart. I stood there, just watching her glow in that golden light slipping through the branches. And then Eleanor showed up, marching across the lawn like she owned the air we were breathing. No hello. No neighborly wave. She walked right up to my kid, stepped between her and the tree like it was a crime scene, and said, "She can't be here. This is HOA common ground." Her voice sharp, clipped like a buzzer going off in a courtroom. That tree wasn't just a tree. It was Chloe's memory of her mom. Our legacy. And this woman was acting like my daughter was loitering at a strip mall. I stayed calm. Explained that we had legal documents, the original deed showing that tree, and 50 feet of lakefront around it, belonged to us. Had belonged to Sarah's family since 1985. But Eleanor. She smirked like she'd been waiting for this showdown. Said the HOA had just done a new survey, one that somehow moved our property line back, and that we were now on community grounds. That's when I knew this wasn't about maps. It was about control. She pointed at brand new orange survey stakes that hadn't been there last time. I knew it was off. And then I saw her glance at Chloe, not with worry, but with disgust, like a grieving child was disrupting her perfect vision of the neighborhood. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just some petty power play. This woman had something personal against us. Inside the cabin, I dug through Sarah's files and found the original deed, complete with a professionally marked survey map. Not only did Chloe have rights to that tree, she had the deepest lakefront lot in the entire neighborhood. No question. Legally rock solid. And then it got worse. The next morning, construction workers showed up. Digging. Measuring. Prepping equipment. Right on Chloe's land. Right around that oak tree. Eleanor was directing them like a general, hands on hips, backing orders. Turns out, she'd already funneled thousands of HOA dollars into some community improvement project, a garden, she claimed, but conveniently located on what was now proven to be my daughter's private property. I tried one last time to reason with her, brought the deed to her front door. She barely looked at it. Told me the HOA had voted, and that the board's decision stood. I suggested we get a neutral surveyor. She slammed the door in my face. Then, and I swear I'm not making this up, she called the cops on my daughter. I heard her through her open window. She wanted the police to remove Chloe from the tree. Said I was being aggressive, said she feared for her safety. And when the patrol car rolled up, Sirens and all, my little girl clutched my hand like she was back in the hospital, waiting on bad news. Her voice cracked when she asked, "Dad, what did I do wrong?" That broke me. I sent every legal document to the HOA. Polite, professional. Still trying to do this the right way. But Eleanor. She doubled down. Claimed our documents were outdated. That the HOA's rules took precedence. She actually wrote that. Like the law was optional if you had enough neighborhood votes and fancy stationery. That's when I knew this wasn't just incompetence. This was a woman with a vendetta. So I dug deeper. And what I found chilled me to the bone. Turns out, Eleanor Vance wasn't always a Vance. Her maiden name. Crawford. And in 1987, her family, the Crawfords, tried to sue Sarah's family over this exact land. Claimed it was stolen from them generations ago. The judge tossed the case, called it baseless. But Eleanor had never let it go. She married into money, moved into our neighborhood in 2019, and got herself elected HOA president within a year. Every community improvement since then aimed at reclaiming that same land. She'd been playing the long game, and Chloe showing up that summer just gave her a reason to finally strike. The real kicker. She was paying her nephew's landscaping company Crawford Landscaping with HOA funds to do work on our land. No board vote. No transparency. Just a woman using other people's money to fight a decades-old ghost war. I hired a surveyor, the best in the county. He confirmed every inch, Chloe's land, Chloe's tree. I sent the results to the board. Eleanor. She filed a restraining order. Claimed I'd threatened her. Fake text. Edited footage. And a judge granted it without even hearing my side. Chloe wasn't allowed near her own tree. I watched her stare out the window while strangers dug up her yard. "It's like they erased me," she whispered. But you know what? Eleanor made one mistake. She left a paper trail. I gathered everything: the forged documents, the misused funds, the HOA violations. And when the court date came, I laid it all out: the original deed, the survey, the financial records showing payments to her nephew's business, every lie she'd ever told. And the judge saw it. He tossed the restraining order, warned Eleanor that any more false claims would land her in real trouble, and confirmed Chloe's ownership. But Eleanor. She couldn't handle it. Had a full-blown meltdown in court. Screamed about ancestral rights. Had to be escorted out by the bailiff. The HOA removed her the next day. And Chloe. She decided to keep the garden Eleanor built. "We'll let the neighborhood kids use it," she said. "But this time, it will be real community space. Not something someone stole." Now she swings from that oak tree again, like she used to, and the laughter that echoes across the water, it doesn't sound like grief anymore. It sounds like peace. But here's the thing. You think someone like Eleanor's just gonna walk away? You think people like that ever really stop? Tell me, what do you think? Who was right? Who went too far? Was this about land or something much darker? Drop your thoughts below, because I have a feeling this war isn't over. Not by a long shot.